Yo, what's up? This will be what if Naruto was, what if Deku was a god of technology? This is just for some little jokes. I don't remember the guy who actually did it, but if you guys find him, he uses these two pictures. Alright, they're his. If you guys find them, please leave his name in the comments for anybody else to go find his channel. He's a pretty good guy. Now, I'm not taking his exact idea. I'm just, using the basis. You feel me? So, every picture that I got to, okay, so Naruto, Deku. Oh my gosh, I was just watching a Naruto what if, and the name Naruto is stuck in my head, but Deku, he has complete control over technology, as he is good at creating technology, and he imbues his technology with some kind of energy that he makes, and I'm going to show you the technology that he makes. He makes that thing on his arm. I'm going to tell you the abilities of that thing on his arm later. As Deku will go to make power imbued rings for quirkless people if they want to have a quirk. He would make smart guns and smart suits for the military, as well as he would make nanosuits and nanobots. As he will also make some things for himself, as he would make this support item for his quirk. It allows him to tap into his technology ability. He also makes this. It is also a support item for a fire quirk. Fire quirk allowing them to emit more heat. As well as he also makes this. It's also for a fire quirk. It allows them to kind of shoot their quirk out into a beam. Now, I know you guys might thinking Deku should be in the support course, but since his quirk is so overpowered, like, he also makes this. It looks like Tron, but it's not. But yeah, you might be thinking Deku should be in like the support course because he like creates things, but no, he's not. Now, his quirk is basically relies on his tech, so he got all this stuff, and he can control it with his abilities, as which makes Deku a pretty strong foe. As if you actually think about it, he could slap a freaking nanobot. Oh yeah, he's also gonna wield two pairs of guns that is imbued with tech. It is this custom Deadpool one, and let me find the other one that he wields, as he also has this Punisher gun. As Deku would also make this one thing that got his name out, as he would actually make this, as it would resemble Iron Man, and that's technically what that claw is. It's a watch on his hand, and when he taps it, it forms like that thing that I showed you guys. This, yeah, it forms into that. As Deku would just be able to use that to maximize his abilities to his full capability. As Deku would make a bunch more tech, as he will also make this for a rare client, as I'm gonna call it the power belt. So yeah, like I said, Deku will wield guns, and he will have a suit. This one, and let me show you the other I guess suit he would wield, as Deku is big on flashy stuff, so he would wield that. And I'm just showing this off because because these are my brother's art, as he is a graphic designer. So yeah, I just wanted to show these off. So yeah, so and Deku, he he's also not the original son of Inko Midori. He makes this, is basically like a smartphone. He is not the original son of Inko Midori. Now let me tell you how the story goes, okay? We start off before the Big Bang, as God created person for the future day when the humans become advanced. One that can rule over the humans at advancements, as the humans could have made weapons that can kill gods. As he creates Izuku Midoriya, as Izuku won't have any memories of him being thy god, but Izuku really is really strong though. Now look, one day NASA sees a meteor coming towards Earth as it hits Earth in Japan in the wilderness, and Inko and Hasashi has been trying to have kids for a long while, but they couldn't. As when the meteor crashed, as they was watching this on their little, listening to this on their little country stereo thing, because they're on a vacation thing, and after this we're going to adopt a child. As they hear the thing, and it sounds relatively close, as Hasashi and Inko both go to check it out, as they see this egg, as the egg starts to crack, and Izuku Midoriya comes out the egg. As Inko's like, her, I guess, somewhat motherly instincts take over, since she's not a mom, but somewhat. She rushes over to Deku to see if he is okay, as she sees that he is crying, and his eyes aren't orange or red, they are blue, as his hair is white, as in this, and Deku, he put some kind of charm over Inko. As soon as she laid eyes on this lovely looking child, she says, Hasashi, let's adopt them. As Hasashi was quite hesitant at first, like a freaking baby fell out of the sky, and he cracked out of an egg, because Hasashi seen Brightburn, okay? As that's kind of stuff don't end too well the majority of the time. As Inko's like, please, Hasashi, giving him like the cute face, like, as Hasashi's like, fine. As they adopt this kid, as they name him Izuku Midoriya. As you know, Hasashi pulls the ultimate jutsu, the gotta go get milk jutsu, and he never comes back. As Inko is left to raise Izuku by herself. As she always noticed that Deku has been close with technology, as she always seen that he is strong and really intelligent. So she's like, maybe he has a mental enhancement quirk or something. As, oh yeah, and God, because he made quirks, so he registered Deku's godlike abilities as a quirk. So that's going to make this series hecka easier for me. So Deku, he's 4, as he goes to the quirk doctor with Inko Midoriya, as the doctor says, without, telling Deku that he's adopted this boy, not yours, right? And he's not yours, right? He's like, yeah, I adopted him, they're in a separate room. As he's like, oh, okay, let's go into the other room, cause I got some juice to spill, okay? And this juice is juicier than any juice you can ever drink, okay? As he tells her and Deku that his quirk is called Tech God. And she's like, strange. As Deku's quirk is labeled Tech God. As Deku, he's like, Tech God. Now, as the doctor goes to explain how he have complete control over technology and how he has vast intellect over technology. And his brain is like a computer. He has so much knowledge in his brain right now. He is probably smarter than God himself. As Deku's like, cool. I can be like All Might. Oh yeah. Also, this will take place in 2077 since it's more tech based. So like I gotta give Deku somewhat an advantage because it's not fair. Like there's phones and stuff, but they ain't got no nanobots and stuff like that. So if you think about it, Deku's quirk is pretty weak. As Deku, he's like, I could finally be like All Might. As the guy's like, yes, and you will be training with the number 3 hero. And Deku's like, huh? Because there is actually a number 3 hero who has a technology-based quirk. And his hero name is Techno, yeah. As Deku's hero's name is going to be Adam. As Deku's like, oh my gosh, I get to train with the number 3 hero, Techno. As Techno walks in and says, hey kid, and Deku's like, ah. As Techno says, so, I hear you're going to be training with me. And Deku's like, yeah. And Techno's like, alright, so he asked the doctor could he explain his quirk in detail like every single thing, not dropping the beat. As a doctor would say, well, any technology that Deku makes or Izuku makes will be bonded with some kind of energy that his body produces, increasing it. As Techno's like, cool. As the doctor explains some more abilities, as Deku, he just shook. He could be like, I could be like All Might. And Deku, he leaves to go home with his mother. As Techno comes the next day saying that he would like to train young Izuku. As he said, he will have to stay with me for the next 10 years if you don't mind, ma'am. He will visit you, but I think it'll be a lot better for his training. As Inko says, yeah, sure. As Deku's like, yay. And then he packs his bags, grabs his little tablet, his freaking DS, and he leaves. As he arrives to Technoblade's mansion. Techno's mansion. As Izuku would say, dude, your house is so cool. As Techno says, thanks, kid. But I don't think it's that cool. As Deku like, dude, you are super cool. And you're like, you're not cooler than All Might, but you're cool. As Technoblade goes, thanks, kid. Kind of like chuckles, being embarrassed by someone with the same quirk as him, not being a big fan of him. As he's like, thanks, kid. And I take it like, but don't be sad. You're cool too, I guess. As Techno says, no problem, kid, no problem. I'm not sad. As Deku says, okay, so what are we waiting for? Let's start training. As Deku and Technoblade starts to train. Not Technoblade, freaking Techno. As Techno, he starts off with combat training and quirk training for the first 7 years. As Deku's body, I'm pretty sure my guy is built like a Greek god. He's not buff like All Might, but he pretty fit, okay? I'd say he's a mixture between, he's like a mixture between Ken Deku and Mirio. So like right in the middle. He's pretty tall. His hair is pretty long. It's white, of course. As Deku, he would and for the next few years, as I'm gonna make you a college in this one again because I freaking want to. As Deku, he as no Techno makes Deku build stuff, build his own gear. As Deku makes this one, as you see, and he makes the power rings. As Techno is like, so he can imbue things that don't involve tech with his tech powers, or with his, I guess, energy, allowing them to become stronger. Okay. As he asks Deku to create a support item. As Deku creates those gauntlets that I showed you, not the ones that like pressurizes the fire, but like the ones with like the with like the blade of plasma. Yeah, he makes that. As he also makes his little jet cannon. Jet cannon as inspiration from All Might's wind pressure punch. As Deku is still a fan of All Might. Now, I'm going to say, just for story's sake, that Deku still don't meet All Might. And if you guys don't know where I'm gonna go with this, yeah, I'm going there. As Deku, he's going to a pretty pristine school, as he is popular for his inventions, as he sells them to his rich classmates, as some would say. As Deku, he is freaking, like, I don't even know how to explain him. He is intelligent, good looking, smart, an inventor. He has a great quirk. As everybody wants to be Deku's friend. Now Deku, he don't like to hang around people that much. He's pretty antisocial, like to be in his own, little bubble. As Deku, he kind of, stays to himself, like I said, as he meets this one person, that always manages to get the better of him. And I'm gonna name that person, Deku meets this girl. Her name is Curry, or Cheer, I guess you could call it. Has yeah, from Keegan Ushura. Yeah, I'm putting her in there. Why? Because I freaking want to. As Deku meets her, and he's the only one. I should say, is the only one that Deku interacts with besides his parents and Techno. As I'm gonna give her a enhancer quirk that enhances her agility and stuff like that. As Karua Kur. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna just call her Car. Yeah, so as Deku, as she has a enhancement quirk and it's pretty strong, around one for all strong. So yeah, as she always manages to make Deku crack up and laugh, and she's always getting close to Deku. As Deku decides to ask her if she wanted to hang out one day, as she shook because Deku is like a god to her, like how freaking what's his name? Oma's little freaking fanboy. Dang it, what's his name? Setsuna Kiryu. Yes, I do not know why I just said that. Just forget that, okay? As yes, as Deku, where the frick did I last leave off? Okay, yeah, Deku invites what's her name, to hang out. As she accepts. Now she's thinking like, yo, why would a god ask me to hang out with him? She thinks of Deku as a god, just like how Setsuna thinks of Deku as a god. And she's like, oh, my goddess, I am a god. He is a god. He is a god, and thy god has asked me to come over. As she's just like ecstatic, like she's like so happy like I'm pretty sure if you guys like battled between like freaking if Setsuna Kiryu and Car were to battle between how much they liked Oma, or in this case Izuku right now, she would win with like 200 billion gazillion points to 1. Okay, like she is like, oh my gosh, like shocked, like an actual god asks her to hang out. As you know, she says, as Izuku Midoriya says, oh yeah, you can meet me at the old parlor, as ice cream parlor. As he's like, oh, okay. As she says, and that one is where, not knowing where it is, as he would say to meet her at 7:15 a.m. No, p.m. No, 3:00 p.m. Okay, yeah. And she asked him to meet him at 3:00 p.m. As she accepts to meet him at that time, because that's when she gets out of whatever kind of training she does with her quirk. That's what I'm gonna say. As Deku, he is pretty interested in her powers and stuff like that. As Deku wanted to talk to her, and see how she is, so strong and stuff like that. As the next day, they meet up. As Deku would call out her name as he sees her, and as she sees Deku, she runs up to him and says, "Hey." As Deku says, "Yo." As Deku's like, "Oh, well, it's on me, so let's go." As they go off and they just have a fun day. Period. As Deku, he asks her this question, as he says, "Hey, how does your quirk work?" As she says, "Oh, well, it's passed down through my family, as it increases the more that we train." As Deku's like, okay. Like, our quirk increases with us, as like it gets stronger as we train. As Deku he says, "Well, what do you think about like heroes and stuff like that?" And she says, "I don't really know." As he says, "What do you mean by you don't know?" As she says, like, "I've never really been a big fan of heroes since I was younger." As he's like, "Oh, okay. I thought all people was fans of heroes." And she's like, "Yeah, I guess I'm just made different. I'm different." I think he says, "Yeah, maybe." As they both laugh and continue with their day. As Deku, he gets home like around, I'd say, 7. As when he gets home, his mom's like, "Whoa, took you a long time, huh?" And he's like, "Yeah, but I have fun, at least." She's like, "Yes, at least you had fun, my dear child." And Deku's like, "So, mother, what's..." As she got a call from him. Well, as he got a call from her. And she says she has something important to talk to him about. Now, he is visiting his mother's part of town. That's how he is in school. As she says, "Since you're, on this side of town, I need, to talk to you about something really important." As he's like, "Yeah, what is it, mother?" And she says, "Well, I have news that your grandfather has passed away," telling her the bad news, and how his late aunt has also passed. As Deku's like, "But we just seen them last weekend." "Weekend? How is that possible?" "Possible? He was completely fine. He wasn't sick or anything." As he's like, yeah, but he's been suffering for a long time with cancer. And Deku's like, wow, I didn't know. As he just feels super sad, but he don't know why. Know why he wasn't close with his grandfather. So why does he have this feeling? As Izuku, he says, in his head, is this what love feels like to somebody I don't know? As he never really felt love to many people but his mother and recently Car. As he says, well, then I must train more in Grandpa's name. As he goes back to Kyoko or whatever, as him and what's his name train some more. As Deku is training even harder, pushing himself to the limit. As the guy is worried for him, thinking that Izuku is pushing himself too hard. As he would train and train until he would get sick in the stomach. He would train for days on end without stopping. As Techno would tell Izuku, he says, kid, take a break. If you keep training, you're gonna end up killing yourself, and I cannot train a dead student. Aztec like, yes, I know, but I must train. I must train under my grandfather's name. He's like, do you think your grandfather would want this? You training yourself to death? And Izuku's like, no. But if I want to become a great hero, oh yeah, also, we all know Inko lied because she didn't want Izuku to know that his grandfather died in a villain attack. He got stabbed to death, and his auntie killed herself. So yeah, I'm pretty blunt, but who cares? As he says, yes, and then I will be able to save people, heal people with the technology that I make. As he's like, yes, you will, kid. As they train for the next, I'm gonna say right now Deku is 12, so they train for the next 5 years, as Deku is now 17. As Deku goes back, as he is done training with Techno, as he has made quite a few devices. Right now I am sending emails to myself from my Pinterest so I could get the pictures my brother made for me. As Izuku, he's looking good, alright? He managed to cope with all of his emotions. As he's thinking, as he walks to his front door, as he has a few people waiting for him, as Deku has made a few friends during his time when he visited his mother, like Kaido and Bakugo. Him and Bakugo became friends quickly. He never got bullied because he had a quirk, so him and Bakugo was friends. As Deku also made friends with, I'm gonna say, this random kid, alright? His name will be freaking Aluja Mamagashi. So yeah. And Deku says, hey, as they all say, surprise! Welcome back, Izuku. And Izuku's like, hey guys, what's with the whole party? As they're like, to welcome you back home. What else? As Deku's like, thank you very much. And they're like, no problem. No, sit down, let's catch up. As Deku's like, sure, why not? As Deku sits down to catch up with all of his friends and buddies and soon-to-be wife, if you catch my drift. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. as Deku, I say right now, Deku, he is about to turn 18, as he's been there for a year, catching up with all of his friends, finishing his few years in high school in Japan, in his mother's part of Japan. As this is the day of the villain attack. As Deku still got attacked, he summoned. As when Deku gets attacked, before the sludge villain covers his whole body, Deku taps his wrist twice, as his arm becomes encased with this thing. As Deku says this word, he says remote explosion. As next thing you know, that like a whole bunch of explosions from everywhere just start going off. As the guy's like, as the person's like, how are you doing this? As Deku says, well, you see, basically all I did was set mines around the whole place because I don't know why, I just wanted to. As Deku, his thing automatically sets mines for ambushes like this. As Deku